All right, y'all, we are set up on the couch again. The candle's going, the naturescapes is going, and I have book 2. This one's Down Among the Sticks and the Bones. This is book 2, and I believe this follows 2 characters we met in the first book, Jack and Jill, but I don't remember if this is before or after what happens in the first book. I don't remember. So I'm not really going to read the synopsis. It doesn't matter because I'm going to read the book, and yeah, it's another short one, so I'm hoping I can just plow through this. Hopefully I will check in if I find anything worthy of chatting about in this book. So I'll check in a little while. Wish me luck with book 2. So I just finished reading the first part of this book, and we are getting kind of the origin story of Jack and Jill that we met in the first book. And we're seeing how these twins really came into the world, what their environment was like growing up, and oh my goodness, I really don't like their parents. At the end of this, they have just found their door. It went from the attic down all the way, it seemed like through the earth, to the door that led them to the moors. So we're just arriving at the moors, and it does give a little bit more background as to why they are the way they are. Their parents basically wanted to have kids just to kind of complete their so-called perfect family, like their perfect look, their success, and they've been just really forcefully trying to mold these twin girls into being the kids that they think they need to be successful, and it's really kind of heartbreaking to read. They've really pushed one of them into being like more of a tomboy, and one of them into being more of a girly girl, and it just seems like they're unhappy and the parents really could care less. It's so heartbreaking, but they've just found the moors, and I'm really, really excited to jump in and see more about this world. This is what I've been waiting for. I'm super excited to explore some of these worlds. I listened to the audiobook of the first book, and I'm listening to the audio of this as well while I'm reading, and this one is actually read by Shauna McGuire. I don't think she read the first one. I'll have to go back and look just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it was somebody else. But the author actually reads it this time, which is giving like a lot of a different feel, I think. This one's also written in a little bit more of a different style. This one feels more like a fairy tale, and this is told in like an omniscient third person, so we're not really following through somebody's eyes per se, which is really shifting the way I feel like the reading experience is going. But like I said, beside it being just sad for the characters, it's been really interesting so far. The writing is fantastic, and like I said, I'm super excited to read more about the moors. So I now just finished the second part of this book. I'm heading into the third and final section, and we've definitely been exploring a lot more of the moors, and we're seeing how the 2 sisters ended up with their 2 mentors, if you want to call it, seeing how the pressures of their parents trying to force them to be things that they weren't necessarily is like creating these circumstances. So just like with the first book, I think again there's just a lot of layers that you can dig into, multiple meanings. You can take it at the face value with the fantastical element, versus, like I said, more deeply relating to accepting people for who they are, and whatnot. So again, I'm really enjoying this. I do think I like the first one better than this, but I am excited to kind of explore the worlds, and it's been fun to get to know the moors. I hope some of the other books go into some of the other worlds as well, because like I said, it is fun to explore some of these worlds. So I'm going to take a quick break. I think I'm going to hop in the shower and play a little bit on maybe Instagram for just a little bit and give myself a break from reading, and then we're going to hop in and get this book all finished. I think I've got about 60-70 more pages, so we're almost done with this one. Good morning! So I basically wasted the whole evening and I didn't get my book finished. I still have about 60 pages left of the second book, so I'm hopefully going to finish it this morning, but I have to go to the grocery. However, my dad just called and said he was going to make some waffles if I came over, so of course I'm going to go over and have some waffles. But then I have to go to the grocery, and then absolutely this book is going to get done today, and then hopefully maybe the next 2 books. I was super distracted yesterday, so I don't know, I was just having trouble reading all day, if you couldn't tell. So hopefully today will be better. But yeah, first priority is waffles and finishing book number 2. All right, it's reading time. I'm back home. I ate all the waffles. I got all the groceries put away. I did the dishes. I finished another little sewing project I needed to do. I'm ready. I'm ready to read. And we're going to sit down here and we're going to finish this right now. So the next time I talk to you, I'm going to have book 2 completely done. So I did it. I finally finished the second book. And while I would say I think I liked the first one better, this was still fantastic. And just like the first one, there's just so many levels. You can take it at the face value of just exploring this fantasy world. But there's just so much more you can unpack. I mean, we have these twin girls who really didn't ever feel love, and they found things that they felt fit them better in this other world. However, there are consequences and all kinds of different obstacles and challenges to overcome, and it was just really interesting to see the twins' origin story in this. Spoiler alert, this literally takes them into the moors, and then we see them go back out of the moors. That way they end up back in this normal world and can go to the Wayward children's school that we saw them in the first book. So I really like this one, but I do think I like the first one a little bit better. So I'm gonna do a quick little break and check on some booktube stuff, and then we're starting the third book. This one's Beneath the Sugar Sky. I don't even know whose story this is. I'm not sure. So we'll jump into this one in a little bit and we'll see how that goes. Check-in time. As you can tell, I'm in the car. I am heading back to my parents' house for the second time today to be fed. They're doing Chinese takeout and I was like, yes, please. So we may also take a dip in the pool because it is really hot in Southern Ohio right now. And it's Sunday night, which means we'll probably watch America's Funniest Home Videos. We love to watch that together. So yes, I'm about 80 pages into book 3 and I'm loving it so far. We start back at the Wayward home. We're meeting a new character named Cora, who is a mermaid who has some body image issues. And we also meet a new character that literally drops from the sky. It turns out, spoiler, that this is Sumi's daughter from Confection. And just as I had hoped from the cover, we get to go to Confection in this book, and I'm super excited. I was a little surprised when I started reading and we weren't in Confection, to be perfectly honest, just based on the cover. Now, I don't know how anybody has rated any of these books, how anybody feels about any of these characters, because I really have stayed away from any spoilers or reviews. I wanted just to go in and experience it myself, so I really don't know how anybody feels about anything, but I was super excited to go to Confection. I still was really excited to go back and start at the school, though. So I'm really just happy pretty much anywhere they want to take me in this universe. But we have been at the school, we've met Sumi's daughter, we've met Cora the mermaid. We are now all on a quest, which cannot be a good thing because the rules at the house say no quest, so I'm concerned. But we are now on a trek to find and bring Sumi back together, piece her back together. And we got to visit Nancy in the Hall of the Dead, which I'm so excited for. I don't know how people feel about Nancy. I don't know how people feel about the Hall of the Dead, but I loved her narration in book 1, and I desperately wanted to visit her in the Hall of the Dead, see her thriving there, and I'm super excited that we got to. I loved it. I literally did an audible when we went when we got to visit her in the Hall of the Dead. So I'm excited for that. And we literally have just dropped through the floor of the Hall of the Dead into Confection, into a giant ocean of soda. So I'm super excited to see where this goes. I am loving all of these books. I cannot believe I waited so long to read these, but I am enjoying it nonetheless. So I'm hoping while I'm here at my parents I can finish up book 3, and then this evening I'll be able to start and maybe even finish book 4. So we shall see. But I am super excited to get to my parents' house, eat some delicious food, and get back into my book because I am really excited to see what happens in Confection. Good morning. So I wasn't really feeling super last night. By the time I got home, I was just a little under the weather. So I ended up watching a little bit of TV on the couch, and then I went to bed pretty early. So I did not get to tell you that I finished Beneath the Sugar Sky, and I loved it. Oh, it was so much fun. We got to visit worlds that I wanted to see. We got to see more of characters that I wanted to revisit, and I just really enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the plot. I really like this book. However, it would be tough to pick my favorite, but I still think this is probably my top favorite. then Beneath the Sugar Sky, and then closely behind Down Among the Sticks and the Bones. I mean, it's hard to rank these because I'm really enjoying all of them. So here I am, all set up again, ready to just be cozy and full of all the reading. And I'm going to pick up In an Absent Dream. I'm pretty sure that's the next one. I think so. I'll double check before I start reading, but I think this is book 4. And just based on the cover, I really don't know. Maybe we're starting back at the school? I don't know. We'll see. But, yep, I have no idea what's going to happen in this book, but I'm super excited to read it. So here we go. So apparently this one is all about Lundy's experience, and Lundy is a small child at the beginning, and she's in love with books, and she says, one of my favorite lines I think I've read in the whole series, she says when she grew up, she was going to be a librarian because she couldn't imagine knowing there was a job that was all about books and not wanting to do it. And all I can say is amen, girl. Amen. So I'm about halfway through this 4th book, In an Absent Dream, and I have to say this has probably been my least favorite all of them so far. I just feel like this one has been super slow paced. We are following Lundy and her journey to her world, the Goblin Market, and I don't know, I'm not as excited about that world, I feel like, but I'm still pretty much enjoying it, and I'm excited to see what happens. So it's not like I don't like it, it's just been probably my least favorite of the series so far, but I'm super tired, so I think I'm gonna grab a quick snack and then probably go to bed early. And then I'm going to try to get this one finished tomorrow. So I'm officially finished with In an Absent Dream, and I enjoyed this one. I've enjoyed this whole series, but this has probably been my least favorite. I think just because, honestly, the Goblin Market has been like my least favorite world to visit, and I did just find this one a little bit more slow paced. I think this one was the one that left me feeling the most like sad at the end. I don't know, this one just didn't feel great at the end, just like emotional wise, but like I said, I've been enjoying all of these books. They're all in like the 4 or 5-star range for me. They're fantastic. So just me saying this is my least favorite really is just, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just me talking. But they're all fantastic. But like I said, I think this one's probably my least favorite. I do kind of like that we got to see someone like really, really struggle though between like fitting in this world and the other world, and like what it looks like to leave people behind. I think the other ones focused a lot more on people being excited for finding acceptance, which is totally understandable. But I like that we got to see like a little bit different perspective in this book. And I totally looked back up her aging process and called my mom, who is also another math major, and we did the timing to see, knowing how she ages, what her life expectancy would be. Because originally I remember thinking like if she's aging backwards they only gave her like 18 years to live, but it turns out that she ages, like she de-ages 1 week for every month. So I mean, essentially with the timing of this book and whatnot, she would still live to be a very, very old lady. She would just look really, really young, because she'd have to like not exist after age 0, like, right? And really, I mean, what would even happen if she's a baby? This is all irrelevant, but these are the thoughts that went through my head. But this one's done. Like I said, probably my least favorite, but mostly I think that has to do with just I wasn't crazy about some of these side characters in this book, and I just really wasn't a huge fan of the Goblin Market world, but nonetheless, I still really, really enjoyed this one. This is still one of the best books that I've read this year. Just like I said, in comparison to the series, probably my least favorite. So, we are on to the last book that is published currently, and that's Come Tumbling Down. Again, I have no idea what this one's about, but I am excited. Just based on the title, my gut instinct is that we're going to be revisiting Jack and Jill, which I'm totally fine with. And yeah, I'll keep you updated on my progress.